Hello and welcome back to Ayaron's world. Well, as you can see, it's done. All nice and flat, nice and terraformed, and prepared for the next part of the build. It took a reasonable amount of time, I'm willing to say. Luckily I perfected the art of doing donkey work like that in Minecraft while watching YouTube videos in another monitor window. So, let's get over there and take a closer look at what I've done. Now the first thing you may have noticed is I've added a path here, just to lead up to it nicely. And a little fence gate there. And as you can see, I've been improving what's going to be my demo auditorium. Now this still needs some floor lighting put in, so I'm not relying so much on these torches to prevent mob spawns. There's a little cubbyhole here where I can sleep and keep some stuff. I'm going to set up some sort of blackboards or display boards there, which is where new recipes, which I'm demonstrating, will appear. Here we can see we have tiered seating with benches for the people to sit and watch. These nether fence things are all the way around, and they should keep stuff out the way. Basically, I'm pretty certain nothing can get in over those fences. And we've got a nice staircase leading up to the top of this mountain, so that all worked out quite nicely. I've put grass down everywhere and a rim of cobblestone. And there's going to be a cobblestone fence, sort of as a safety rail around this thing. And then there's this, which is simply a pit. It's, what, three down? Now, it's just occurred to me that having ender pearls is going to be very useful as we do this build, because it means I can get in and out of that pit. I also need some buckets and an infinite water source. So let me just sort those out and then we'll come back. And I'll talk more about what it is I'm actually doing here. Okay, so I've got myself a little workstation set up. Bed for when night comes, chest full of some basic supplies, infinite supply of water. So, what is it I'm building up here? Well, as I said, I need iron. So I'm going to go for an Iron Golem spawner, because when golems die, you get the iron. Now, where do Iron Golems spawn? They spawn in the center of villages. So that's what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to build a village. Now, when most people build an Iron Golem spawner, they just pack all their villagers into like little tiny rooms off on the sides, and that's it. That's and that's all there is. But I'm going to build an actual proper village. I'm going to have villagers wandering around in the daylight. They'll be able to enjoy themselves, and at night they'll have somewhere they can move into. Because the Iron Golems will always spawn within something like 16 blocks of the center of the village. The definition of the center of the village is everywhere there is a door. So if I just grab some doors. Everywhere there is a door and a villager counts as a village. And if there's only one door, well, okay, there has to be a roof on the door as well. Essentially, what it needs to be is one side of the door has to be exposed to the sky, the other side has to not be exposed to the sky. So that is a valid house as far as villagers and a village is concerned. So if there was a villager around here, this would then be a village. And because there's only one door, the center of the village would be right there. But if there was another door here, and again, let's just, for the sake of completeness, we'll make it a valid house. Now, this is a two-door village, and the center of the village is here. And if there was a door here, the center of the village becomes equidistant between them, so here, and if there's one here, then this becomes the center again. So you can see how that works. So long as I balance my doors, so the center of the village is in the center of this area here, all the Iron Golems are going to spawn within this thing here. With me so far? So the way I envisage this is that there will be a communal house for the villagers to live here, and it will have loads of doors, because the other thing about doors in villages is the villagers will breed and they will make baby villagers until the village is full. And the definition of a village is full is based on the number of doors in the village. And it's something like 3 1/3 doors per villager. So in general, you can just divide by 3. So if you've got a 9-door village, will support a population of about 3 villagers. They won't breed beyond that, I think. So I probably want this to be about a 60-door village, because I want about 20 villagers running around. So this is yeah, hang on. So the idea is that I will get the center of the village here, in the center of this square, and because the golems, this by the way is, the base plate is 21 by 21. So this is in case you want to build one yourself. So the internal dimensions are 19 on a side. So if this is the center of the village, all golems will spawn within this space. And this is a 3-high wall, because golems are 3 high. Although they need a 4 high space, I believe, to actually spawn. So the first thing, so basically all the Iron Golems are going to spawn here, and then we're going to use water to channel them through to the center, where they're going to drop down a shaft, be carried off by water streams to my killing chamber. Well, it's not actually a killing chamber, because golems are not actually alive. Remember this. They are automatons. Whereupon I will harvest their iron. So, let me show you how to fill this. Because you can't just put water along all the edges, because if you do, this whole thing will form into a smooth, flat pool of water, because basically the infinite water source blocks will expand, no, not expand, replicate. Yeah, that'll do. They'll replicate. So, the first thing you want to do, as a guide to yourself, so you don't forget. Oh, by the way, this is not my design. The design for golem spawners were, I believe, hang on, I've got a note of it here somewhere, were designed by JL2579 and the good folk on his public server. Well, it's not a public server, basically. There's lots of technical geniuses on JL2579's server. DocM is one of them. So I learnt the basics of this from a tutorial by DocM, who himself gave the credit to JL2579. Why can't he have a proper name? I'll just call him JL from now on. And then I also saw a slightly different version and information from 101M4N. Now he's the guy who invented something known as a hyper golem spawner, which means basically you trick the game into thinking there are 5 villages all in one spot, so you get 5 times the number of golems. I'm not going for that because it seems a little bit munchkin-y. Although if you want to do, if you want to do that in your own world, good on you. I'm also kind of afraid that I'll go to all the effort of making a hyper golem spawner, and then they'll just fix the code in order to avoid, in order to remove that exploit from the game. So I am putting these dirt blocks here in order to remind me not to put water in those spaces, because if I did, as I said, the the water source blocks would replicate, and this whole thing would become a smooth pool rather than the flowing water, which is what we want. So I'm now going to put water along the edges in between. So if I put one there and one there, I can now pick up from that infinite water source block there. And I can keep doing this. You've seen me do this before. And I'm going to do this on all 4 sides. There we go. So as you can see, all the water converges nicely into the centre here, leaving a 3x3 space, which means you won't need any signs to hold back your water in that. And this is what's going to be dug down and is going to be the basically the Iron Golems are going to come here, fall down into the tunnel and so on. So now if at this stage you were to just, hang on, I'm going to need some more water, aren't I? Let me grab that and that. Now if I was to just remove these 3 bits of dirt, you can see the water, you know, there's a dead spot there now, where if an Iron Golem ended up here, he'd end up pinned to that wall. So we don't want that. Oh, there's a dead spot here as well. So let's put those back in, and we're going to place water up here. Not down there, because if we put water there, it would form an infinite water source block with that one there, and then it would replicate across the whole pool. So we place this water above, like so. And if I just grab my spade. And now we can get rid of the 3 bits of dirt. And so now there's no dead spot there. Everything will always flow towards the centre there. So I just need to do that on the 3 remaining sides. There we go. Perfect water flows. So let me just get out. And so now we need bricks. I never needed all these buckets, did I? Let me just hang on to 2 of them. So what you want around here is a 2-high wall, like that. Now, if you were making one of those really compact ones, you know, where all your villagers are just crammed into a holding cell, then this is where you would leave gaps for your doors. So like you might go, well, you might place doors along this entire side, you know, door, and that's because your villagers are held in a holding cell, they'll never try and open the door, so they can't fall in. I'm doing mine a bit differently. My doors are going to be set further back because, as I said, this is going to be like a communal building where all the villagers can retreat to come nightfall. So I just need to make this 2 high. And the spacing is, as I said, because the golems need a height of 4 in order to spawn. So let me just do this all the way around. Now, actually, I've changed my mind. There's room here for a building to come forwards. And at the back, which is sort of beyond where I'm going to allow the villagers to realm, there's room that I could set something back into this mountain a bit. I just have to dig out some skylights or something so there was daylight there. Because obviously if I want that to be the centre, then if the doors here are out here perhaps, then the ones on the opposite side also have to be that far out. But on the left and the right, there isn't as much room. There's a little bit of room there, but on this side there is very little room for any form of building. So in order to get the doors in, I think I am going to line this side and that side with doors, and then just put a barrier in front, probably blocks, maybe. Just something to prevent the villagers from being able to open the door and wander in and disappear. So I need a shed load of doors. I need some sheds made of doors. So let's empty my hotbar, fill it with the doors I've got, and then I'm going to have to go make more. But for the sake of neatness, now, does it matter which way I put the doors on? It might change the look of the thing. No, I think it needs to be this way around. I wish doors stacked. Like so. The reason being that there's going to be a roof over this. So this will count as an inside square. That's an outside square, so these will all be valid doors as far as the village is concerned. So what I need is a lot more wood. Okay, I've got four stacks of logs. Let's see how far that gets us. First thing it looks like I need to do is actually make myself a workbench. There we go, one workbench. So one good thing is that you can now just left click drag and it evenly distributes your blocks, which makes crafting stuff like this a lot easier than it used to be. Okay, well, let's throw these down. Doesn't make any sound when you place a door. Every other block, when you place it, it makes a noise. Okay, so this is what? That's already 19 doors? Yeah, because the inner dimensions are 19 and there's one there. I know what I meant. So this is going to be 38 doors already, which is good because it means that I don't have to put a ludicrous amount of doors in my building, in the communal sleeping thing at the front. Oh, I've got loads more doors. Sorry, I was just coming here to craft more, and it's like I don't think I need to yet. So now I'm grabbing stone bricks and making some more out of stone. I've got loads of stone cooked up by the auto furnace waiting down there. Oh, no, I'm going to need tools and stuff, aren't I? Pick, ender pearls. There we go. So, now what I want to do is I want to fill in a top to this. Do I want to add... I've got light down there and mobs can't spawn anywhere else. They might be able to spawn there. Let me grab my torches and light up underneath before I do anything else. Sorry if this is making you seasick. Probably going to have YouTube telling me again, we've detected your video is wobbly. Would you like us to correct this for you? It's always doing that. Doesn't seem to be able to tell the difference between a first-person computer game and someone with a shaky camera. There we go. I wonder, can we make it onto that wall? Hey! Okay. So, now you don't build a floor above this level, you build it at this level. Which means that anywhere you've put doors, you don't put a block there, obviously. So, you know, if you're doing one of the more compact forms, then you'll be leaving more of a gap than I am. But for here, this just goes along like this. Now, this is essentially going to be a second spawning floor. So, there'll be 2 levels on which Iron Golems can spawn. So I just need to completely fill this in. There we go. So this is the second spawning floor, and as such it's going to have water on it, so we have to put a wall around it to keep the water in. Now this one only has to be 2 tall. You can make it 3 tall if you want, or taller, or whatever, but it wants to be 2 tall. And this is what's going to go over the top of the doors. And it's going to be the same here, as it's going to poke out like that. Okay, so I'll put that all the way around, and I'll put the water in just like I did on the floor below. Sorry, I think I made a mistake there. This wall here should not be overhanging like this. It should just be directly on top of that wall there. The difference is that the sides where the doors are, I left gaps. And on this side I didn't, I filled it in completely. So, yeah. If I'd have done that, then the dimensions would have been different to the floor below. Because I said it should be an external dimension of 21 by 21, internal dimension 19 by 19. There we go. So that's the second floor on. I lined it with torches again. I might put half slabs on top of the walls there. I mean, those torches should be enough to prevent mobs from spawning up there. But just in case, I might be more comfortable if I half slabbed that. So I've realised that I don't have to block access to these doors from the villagers, because you can't fall in at all. And if the villagers want to come in here at night and stand in these little tiny thin cubicle things, then they're welcome to. So as I said, so that's we've got 38 doors there already. And I really wanted 60 doors, so that's what, another 22 doors that I need to put in? Yeah, at least 22 doors, so 11 on each side. So I'm going to start thinking about what I want this thing at the front to be. And then I'm going to have to mirror image, if not the look, at least the positioning of the doors at the back. Now, this here is an issue because there isn't that much room. I could build this out a bit, I suppose. There's no reason why this couldn't be like an overhang on stilts. You know, I could sort of drop supports down to the ground below, make it look like it was deliberate. And that way the building could come out a little bit more. As I said, I mean, I want this to be a reasonable amount of space in here for the villagers. Let's just lay it out a bit in dirt, sort of, so we can get an idea of the size. So that'd be 10. That doesn't leave much of the rest of the space up here. Well, there would be plenty of room inside, though. That might look a little strange. That's 6. This seems okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 6 out. And then that. So yeah, so if I wanted the villagers to still be able to get round the side there, and I think I do, then I'm going to have to extend that a bit like that. Sort of bring it out more, curve it round. Now the only thing I'm worried about is mirror imaging it on the back, because 6 brings me well in here, and I think I need it exposed to sky, but I might be able to get away with just cutting skylights in. I mean, I can actually integrate it into the mountain, because I don't actually expect any villagers to access this area at all. I just need the doors there. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. So let's grab my spade. I'm wondering how it would look if I had doors every other one like that. That might look a little strange. How many would it give me if I did do this? I can put doors at the sides as well. There won't really be any room for any windows, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That would be 15 on each side, though. Which would certainly give us a good number of villagers in here. The reason why you want a reasonable amount of villagers is because a village can have... It won't speed up the golem spawning, but it will increase the number of golems that can exist at one time. If you've got 10 villagers, there can only be 1 golem in the village. So if so the percentage chance per second of a golem spawning is exactly the same, no matter how many villagers you've got. But if there's already 1 here, and he hasn't fallen down to be carried away yet, and then luckily, and then just by luck you get another one come up, then that second one won't appear unless you've got 20 villagers. So with 60 doors or so, I might get about 20 villagers. So that's why that's worth doing. Now, this is going to obviously be flooring for the inside of the building. Do I want to make it out of stone? No, I think I'll make it out of the dark wood. It makes quite a nice flooring, I think. Oops. So let me sort of get the basics of this building down, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. So I'm here chopping myself some spruce logs, and that one's too high for me to chop. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember putting barriers up above so the trees would only grow to a maximum height, and they don't appear to be there anymore. Now, did I just dream that, or did I actually do it? Could someone actually tell me if they remember me deliberately, building up the sides of this and putting barriers across in order to limit the growth height of the trees? Because I'm very confused by that. It means I keep having to pillar up. Okay, so I've put the floor in and the walls and built the walls up to a height of 4, so they'll have plenty of headroom. And I don't know, I mean, it occurs to me I could put a second floor on this without any doors, just so they've got, more room to expand and move around in. And I could even, if I built this up, I mean, this is only a height of 2. If I built this up more, I could put a roof over this and let them walk around on the roof, but that might just be going a bit too far. But I kind of like the idea of a second floor on here. So I could fill this in like that. That would still give them plenty of headroom. And somewhere I could stick loads of torches. Yeah, and then I could have like a staircase going up to a second floor, and the second floor then could have the windows and that, so they could go up and look out at the world, when they're in here at night. So I think that's going to look pretty good. I've only got a couple of doors at the moment, but I'll throw them in. Okay, there's something very strange going on with the mouse. I thought they'd fix that bug. So yeah, so there'll be loads of doors like that, and I can put torches on the outside as well, of course. Oops, that's close. So I've got to extend a walkway round that side there. But no, I think this is looking pretty good. Now, for out here, this is going to be like a garden for them to enjoy during the day. So there'll be, they can wander around, and there could be a tree, and there'll be a pool, and so on. If you've got any suggestions as to what I should, put out here, which the villagers might enjoy, because I want the villagers to be as happy as possible. I could maybe have a fountain. I've never built a fountain before. I'm not quite sure what a good design for a fountain is, but, there's a reasonable room out here. So there could be like a central fountain, and then there could be benches and trees. Give me your suggestions. Should I keep it exactly flat, or should I sort of give it a slight shaping? There isn't really enough room to build up any hills, though. So it might be best to just keep it nice and flat and simple. So yeah, a second floor on that, I think. I think I want to build that. Although, before I mess around too much with that, let's get this side access done so I can see about mirror imaging these doors back there. Otherwise the whole balance of the village will go off, and the centre of it won't be in the middle of my spawning ground. That looks about right. I put a floor where it pokes out there. I put a floor of cobblestone underneath, so it doesn't look like it's just floating in mid-space. And I think I'll put some, like at least one post down here, so it sort of looks like it's the support that's sort of holding this platform in place. Alright, so now I've got to see about mirror imaging what I've got door-wise at the back. So, wow, I did not mean to end up here. There we go. Right, so it's, as I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I leave that corner out, and then it's the doors every other one. So, I think what I want is lots of cobblestone for this, because I'll make it out of cobblestone. because most of it's going to be hidden from sight. And I might even rebuild this hill and mountain a bit so it deliberately encompasses this. So obviously I'm going to have to dig through that. It's going to be visible on this side, but visible as a cobblestone platform, which is what the rest of the stuff is. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, I'm just making it so there's cobblestone down. So when you look at it from underside, it's a little cobblestone platform, and again, I'll put a support pillar on that. So it'll all sort of like match up nicely. And there's going to be one along here as well, of course. So that needs to be cobble as well. And dig through the mountain. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about is I've got to make sure these are valid. That these count as valid doors, and I'm not quite sure what the best way to go about doing that. I might have to check some of the research for the actual rules, because if I get it wrong, then they won't count as doors in the village, and that will lead to problems. So I'll finish digging this out, and then I'll do a little bit of research, and we can work out how we're going to get this done properly. So, apparently the definition of something being a valid building is that there is a different number of skylit blocks on the 5 squares on one side of the door and the 5 squares on the other side of the door. And that's it. That's all that's needed. So, in order to get this to count, that's what I've got to do is I mean, I think if there was a square here exposed to the sky and there was a door there, it would count, because on that side there wouldn't be any blocks. Or maybe it needs like a single row around the outside. Yeah. I think that if I actually sort of built this like this, so on this side of all the doors there was this completely enclosed thing. There would be no skylit blocks on this side of the door, and this side I'll leave exposed to the air. Then these will count as doors for little houses all the way around, which will mirror image of the ones there. So essentially I'm building this one inside out. And that, I think, will do it, and will be the minimum amount of digging out of this mountain that I need to do. So I'll go with that, and we'll see whether it works. I hope it does. It sounds correct. So I'll finish that up. You can tell that I'm a little bit uncertain, But from what I understand as to how this stuff works, this should do it. And there isn't that much of the mountain for me to clear then. I'd much rather just have to expose that, you know, that little bit on this side, than have to dig in there and then expose even more, or dig through even more, I mean. There we go. So I'm pretty certain this will balance out the doors on the other side. They're in the same positions. The only difference is that in this case, the house is in here, and this is the outside. But it should count, and the villagers which are over there should be close enough to these doors that they activate as part of the village. So, yeah, I don't think I need to dig that out. I might do that later. And I've put half slabs on top of these walls to make sure that mobs don't spawn. And torches in here as well. Because obviously if zombies spawn, they're going to destroy the doors. So the last thing I need to do is just close this up. Like that. I might replace bits of this with stone brick just for the look of it later. And this is going to be barriered off. So, yeah, so these ones count as doors there. Those ones count as doors there. And this one is there. So that's quite a lot of doors. I'm hoping it's enough for 20, maybe 25 villagers. I've not actually done the exact maths. Second story on this, I think. Because the second story can have windows and a skylight and all that sort of stuff. Sort of have stairs going up from here, perhaps. Maybe stairs doing that, so they can go up either that way or that way. Plenty of room. So, that's it for this episode. This is coming along quite nicely, I think. The next thing to do is to work on the killing mechanism, I think. So, this is always tricky, trying to get up there. Well, anyway, where the hole in the middle is, where they're gonna, where the golems are gonna fall down and be carried off to be killed and collected. So I think that's what I'm going to work on next. So this is actually coming along a lot quicker than I expected. It's mainly because of the hours of work I've put in clearing the mountain and tidying up and stuff in between recording. Well, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please click like. I don't often actually verbally say that, but it really does help people find my videos and help my channel grow. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me get rid of that I realise is still on screen. That's from when I was placing the torches back in that house back there. I wanted it, you know, to be make sure there was no dark spots. And I'll see you next time when I'll show you how we're going to kill and collect the iron from the golems. So I'll see you then. Bye bye.